Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be uncovering the life and the music of Faytinga, an Eritrean singer and musician.
Yeah,
We've got a few sources about her, excerpts from her website,
right.
a biography, and some really interesting articles.
Okay, cool.
And we're going to be using these to kind of understand her journey as a freedom fighter, as a cultural ambassador,
Yeah.
and really how all those experiences shaped her music and her message of peace and hope.
Well, it's really interesting how Faytinga's whole story kind of overlaps with the story of Eritrea itself,
Right.
with their fight for independence and their really rich cultural heritage.
Yeah.
She's not just a musician, she's a living embodiment of the spirit of the nation.
That's what I'm excited to get into. So her story starts with her Kunama heritage.
Okay.
And the Kunama people, they're native to Eritrea, and they're known for their very deep-rooted belief in equality between men and women.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really important starting point for understanding Faytinga and her music, and her just overall personality is like a strong, independent woman.
And, you can't forget the historical context of resistance. Even her father, Faytinga, he earned the nickname Fighting Gun from the British administration
Really?
back in the early 1950s.
Wow.
And that nickname, they got it from mispronouncing his name, but I think it speaks volumes about their family's history of resistance.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
So it seems like it really flows through her veins.
Yeah.
I mean, joining the liberation struggle at 14 years old?
Mhm.
That's incredible.
Absolutely. And during those years, she got an education, but she also became a combatant.
Yeah.
So you can see how this early exposure to conflict and violence would really shape her worldview.
Yeah.
And then eventually kind of seep into her music and give it a real sense of purpose.
So it wasn't just entertainment for her,
Oh, definitely not.
especially during that time.
No.
It was really using her voice as this weapon of hope
Totally.
to uplift troops and...
Right. And imagine her right in the middle of the struggle, playing the crowar,
Oh, yeah.
a traditional small lyre.
Okay.
And it has this really haunting, resonant sound.
Sure.
The crowar, it holds a really deep cultural significance in Eritrea.
Mhm.
It's often used for storytelling and passing down traditions.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
can almost hear those melodies kind of weaving through the sounds of conflict
Yeah.
and kind of offering this like glimmer of hope and resilience.
Oh, it's such a powerful image. And it shows how art can, even in the darkest of times, it can transcend all that.
Yeah.
And then she toured with the Sibrit Cultural Troupe,
Okay.
which is Eritrea's national folkloric group.
Wow.
And they're critical to, preserving and celebrating Eritrean music and dance traditions.
So it's like she was destined for a life in music,
Yeah,
and using it to connect people and amplify their shared experiences.
totally.
And her talent didn't go unnoticed.
No.
In 2000, she won second prize at the Africa Festival, which is in South Africa.
Yep.
And that earned her the title of First East African Women Singer,
Wow.
which is amazing.
Yeah, that recognition was big for her.
Right.
It really launched her onto the international music scene,
Yeah.
and it led to the release of her debut album, New Me,
Oh, wow.
on the Paris-based Cobalt Records label.
So this is her coming out as a global artist.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And New Me is a really fascinating album because it's sung entirely in Kunama.
Right. Her native language.
Yeah, and that was really deliberate.
Yep.
It wasn't just to showcase her heritage. It was about preserving a very old African language.
Yeah.
And, it gives listeners a real glimpse into Eritrean culture,
Yeah.
which, is often kind of overshadowed by its really tumultuous history.
Right.
So it's a really special thing.
It's like she's opening this window
Yeah.
into a world that we wouldn't be able to experience otherwise.
Exactly.
So I'm curious about the musical influences that kind of shaped her sound.
Well, it's a real blend of traditional and modern. For instance, the wata, which
Yeah.
is an Eritrean bass lute.
Okay.
It's got remarkable similarities to the ngoni.
And what's that?
It's a West African instrument.
Oh, wow. So are there like historical connections between them?
Well, it reflects how interconnected musical traditions are across Africa. the Gingoni. It's got these deep, resonating tones.
Okay.
And it's believed to have traveled along ancient trade routes
Oh, wow.
and, kind of influenced the development of instruments like the wata.
So in East Africa.
Yeah. And so this cross-continental exchange, it adds this really interesting layer to Faytinga's music.
It's incredible how music can bridge those geographical and cultural divides
Yeah.
and carry echoes of those shared histories and influences.
Exactly, and that's really evident in her music.
Okay.
She really blends the soulful vocals that are so typical of East African music
Yeah.
with traditional Eritrean rhythms and instruments.
That's really cool.
Yeah, like take her song Milomela.
Okay, Mona, tell me about it.
Well, it's a powerful anthem about Eritrea's fight for independence.
Wow.
Capturing the struggle, the resilience, the hope of the people.
Yeah.
The lyrics are sung in Kunama,
Right.
and they're really layered with meaning,
All right.
reflecting the whole cultural context of her music.
Wow.
It's a really powerful song.
So it sounds like Milomala is more than just a song.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a historical
Yeah.
and cultural statement.
Exactly. And as she went on in her musical journey, she started incorporating instruments like guitar,
Yeah.
flute, percussion
Yeah.
into her later albums.
Cool.
And this shows how open she is to experimenting with sounds
Yeah.
while still staying true to her roots.
So her later album, Eritrea, might sound a little different than Numi.
Yeah, Eritrea, it's still rooted in those traditions,
Mm-hmm.
but you can hear her growth.
Yeah.
The inclusion of those new instruments, it adds new dimensions,
Right.
and it creates a richer, more layered musical experience.
She's striking a really cool balance between tradition and innovation,
She does it masterfully.
which is a hard thing to do as an artist.
It is. And what's really amazing is how seamless she does it.
Yeah.
She creates this sound that's both familiar and fresh,
Yeah.
and it just shows her artistry and her deep understanding of musicality.
It's clear that her journey has been anything but ordinary.
Right.
She's gone from fighting for her country's freedom to becoming a cultural ambassador for Eritrea.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to learn more about her global impact.
Well, Faytinga's story really goes beyond borders.
Okay.
She's performed at so many international events.
Like what?
Expo 2005, Expo 2010,
Going.
the Earth Summit in 2002.
Wow.
Showcasing the beauty and diversity of Eritrean culture on a global stage.
That must have been incredible for her to share her music and heritage with the world like that.
It was, and it goes beyond just performing.
Yeah.
She mentioned in an interview recently that she's working on a new album, and it's going to be addressing global crises and promoting peace.
Wow, that's remarkable. It's like she's using her platform to advocate for change.
She is, and she's collaborating with artists from all over, like
Oh,
the group We Dyer.
okay.
And it creates this really cool musical dialogue
Yeah.
that transcends cultural boundaries.
Right. So it's a beautiful example of how music can foster understanding
Yeah,
between people from different parts of the world.
exactly.
It's what makes her story so inspiring. It's not just about the music.
Right.
It's about using it to make a difference.
Yeah.
And her activism and advocacy for social justice, especially for those living with HIV and AIDS, it just adds another layer.
Her commitment to social justice runs really deep.
Yeah.
She's been so vocal
Yeah.
about people living with HIV and AIDS.
Right.
She's participated in tons of World AIDS Day events.
It's inspiring to see her use her voice to amplify these issues and challenge stigmas.
Yeah, and she doesn't shy away from those difficult conversations. She collaborated with Temeskin Yard on the Eritrean version of World on Our Shoulders,
Cool.
which highlights global unity and environmental protection.
So it's another way that she uses her platform
Yeah,
to spread these messages of hope and unity.
exactly. And, all these experiences, her childhood, the liberation struggle, being on a global stage,
Yeah.
all of it has culminated in what she calls music of hope.
Music of hope. There's a sense of resilience there.
Yeah,
It speaks to overcoming adversity and finding strength in the face of conflict.
it does. Her music is full of hope and resilience.
Yeah.
And, qualities that were forged through her life experiences.
Yeah.
She once said, "There is no easy road to success."
Hmm.
And her journey embodies that statement.
Her story is a reminder that even when things are really tough,
Mm-hmm.
there's always possibility for hope
Yeah.
and a path towards a better future.
That's the beauty of Faytinga's story.
Yeah.
It's not just about her journey, it's about how resilient the human spirit is. Our capacity for hope and wanting a better world.
Yeah.
And her music becomes this conduit
Yeah.
for those emotions.
Right.
And it lets listeners connect with her experiences on a really personal level.
So she's inviting us to not just listen,
Yeah,
but to really engage with those stories and messages.
totally. It's not about passive listening.
Right.
It's about actively engaging with the world,
Yeah.
recognizing our shared humanity,
Yeah.
and understanding the power of art to bridge those divides.
It's what makes Faytinga's stories so impactful.
Yes.
She's not just an artist, she's a storyteller.
Yeah.
She's a bridge builder.
Sure.
She's a beacon of hope
Yes.
in a world that's often uncertain.
Absolutely.
It's remarkable how she manages to weave those personal experiences
Yeah.
into music that speaks to these universal themes of hope and resilience and the pursuit of peace.
It's that authenticity
Yeah,
that really connects with people.
totally. And she doesn't shy away from those tougher issues,
Right.
like cultural identity and social justice.
Mm-hmm.
So her music is like this platform for raising awareness and making us think.
What's really cool is how she challenges us to look past our own views
Yeah,
and try to understand people from these marginalized communities.
right.
You know, she's amplifying voices that we don't often hear
Yeah.
and encouraging us to broaden how we see the world.
It's like she's taking us on a journey
Yeah,
of cultural discovery
Yeah,
and
yeah.
encouraging empathy and understanding.
totally.
And it makes me wonder, how can we contribute to a more inclusive world?
That's a huge question.
Yeah.
You know, Faytinga shows us that even small things can make a difference.
Okay.
Like supporting artists from different backgrounds,
Yeah.
or speaking up for social justice,
Right.
or even just recognizing our own biases.
Yeah.
Those are all steps in the right direction.
It's a good reminder that we all have the power to create change,
We do.
no matter how small.
Yeah, and Faytinga lives it.
Yeah.
You know, she's dedicated to those living with HIV and AIDS. She collaborates with people from different cultures.
Yeah.
She participates in global events.
Right.
All these actions really show how committed she is to making a difference.
It's more than just talk for her.
Oh, yeah.
She really lives it.
Exactly. And
Yep.
that's what makes her so compelling.
Right.
She embodies those values
Yeah.
through her music and actions.
Faytinga's story has really been this exploration of resilience and cultural identity
Yeah.
and the power of music.
It's incredible.
It's a testament to overcoming adversity
Yeah.
and using art to make positive change.
I think if you haven't already,
Yeah.
you should check out her music
Yeah.
and immerse yourself in her sounds and stories.
It's a rich tapestry.
It is.
Yeah.
Let her music inspire you
Okay.
to embrace diversity,
Yeah.
to stand up for what you believe in,
Mhm.
and to recognize the power we have to make a difference.
Yeah.
Faytinga's journey proves that music can be a universal language,
Yeah.
you know, something that goes beyond borders
Right.
and ignites hope.
Faytinga's story, it's been really powerful.
It has.
This exploration of resilience and cultural identity
Mm-hmm.
and really the power of music.
Yeah. It's a testament to the human spirit, you know,
Right.
and its ability to overcome adversity
Yeah.
and use art as this force for change.
If our listeners haven't already,
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to check out Faytinga's music
You should.
and really immerse yourselves
Yeah.
in the richness of her sound
Mm.
and her stories.
It's pretty incredible. Let her music inspire you
Okay.
to embrace diversity, to
Good.
stand up for what you believe in,
Right.
and recognize the power we all have to make a difference.
That's a good takeaway, I think.
Yeah, Faytinga's journey, it shows that music can be this universal language,
It really can.
you know, one that transcends borders
Yeah.
and brings hope.
Well, that was a fascinating deep dive
It was.
into the life and music of Faytinga.
Yeah, I really enjoyed learning more about her.
Me too. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.